everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Border City Rock Talk, where you get great news, great interviews, great interviewees with sometimes a comedic touch. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, and comment below. I'm going to be bringing these cats on, and I have about 95% American subscribers, guys. And so these guys, this is what they're known for here in Canada, Europe especially, and worldwide. But this is just a little bit of about Coney Hatch. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Very, very well. Good to see you, Ernest.
I've
Marvelously well.
I've interviewed you, Andy, a few times, or Envy of None, and I think some solo music, or we just chatted as just my curiosity about Coney Hatch and Andy Curran. But I want to start with Mr. Carl Dixon, and for this particular reason, he is a fellow Siouxite. How are you, Carl?
I'm doing great, Ernest. How are you, man?
Not too bad, not too bad. So a friend of mine had told me he'd met you actually at your benefit. I thought it was here in the Sioux. He met you at the benefit at the Phoenix. His name is Zoom. So Zoom says hi. And regarding that, did you do a benefit or were you asked by, I think it was a bunch of lawyers. I don't know who told me. Maybe you told me to speak at the Tech in the Sioux about 8 years ago?
I was at the Tech. I think it was 2017.
Okay.
And I don't know if there were lawyers involved. They didn't reveal that to me if there were. But a guy called Trevor Zachary put on the show. And it was basically me talking about my career and my recovery from a bad accident.
Thank you
putting
for
on
that.
an interview.
Thank you for that, because I was leading into something and I was just thinking to myself, oh fuck, I forgot I was going to ask. So you had that unfortunate accident in 2005 in Australia, and and you're married. Were you married, or you're married to an Australian, or?
I am now. I wasn't married to an Australian then.
I mean, perfect that you're married now and she's not deceased. So I mean, that was the other thing. Oh my God, how do I word this? So I just interviewed Angry Anderson of Rose Tattoo, and if you spent some time in Australia, you guys would know
Rose Tattoo. Love Rose Tattoo. Carl, didn't we used to play Nice Boys? Nice Boys, don't play rock and roll.
That was one of your rocking tunes as a vocalist, I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, go down to the link below. The title of the YouTube interview is called by fan request, Rockstar Fornicates Biker's Girlfriend. It's a true story. It's a true story. Yeah. Angry is
surprise. Angry Anderson.
He told me that story and I was like, oh my God, that's going to be a title. So anyways, thanks for having you both here. We want to talk about the 40th anniversary reissue of the Coney Hatch debut album in 1984 or 82 came out.
We're a little off on the 40th mark. We blew
40-something
reissue, but 82 was the first album.
Perfect. And you guys want to know how great this album is to my subscribers that haven't heard of Coney Hatch, I just pulled up on. There's a guy on YouTube. His name is Danny Wasted, and he posts all of these albums from decades and decades, full albums, and listen to these comments about the Coney Hatch debut album, and it's below his album. Gosh, love that Canadian flavor. Kind of recognizable. Many Canadian bands were the best. First heard of this band in '82. A stripper played 3 songs on stage, asked who they were, and got to see them 3 times since. Great band. Kick-ass album and killer tunes. What else? Oh, what did this guy say? He said something that was unique. He said something that thanks Danny Wasted for putting this killer first album from Coney Hatch on YouTube. Originally, I thought they were called Coney Island. Next
Okay.
comment, Wade Boggs, what a fabric. Finally, I can breathe. Wait, oh, that's from Seinfeld. Sorry. So, anyways, so those were some comments, guys.
What I want to
Wow.
know is, did the guy see us 3 times or the stripper 3 more times?
I'll bet you he's seen the stripper a few more times, but I mean, I'm sure he saw you guys 3 times.
Well,
So I
look at
mean,
if it took a stripper to get his attention to introduce him to Coney Hatch, then that was a nice segue. Good for him.
That's a new marketing angle we can look into.
New
well,
marketing angle. Sticker on the front, loved by strippers everywhere.
well, I mean, that's the thing. When your attention span goes anywhere but the stage at a strip joint,
It's a
there's
good
either
sign.
a murder going on or something great.
Yeah, no, that's a good sign. But listen, before we talk about the anniversary of this record, let's get back to Sault Ste. Marie because
Yeah,
you were saying to me, did you say something wrong to offend Carl to drive him out
yeah.
of the Sioux?
What
You
did
were
I
asking me
say?
that.
Was it something I said, Carl? Because I would have been almost born then.
No, my dad was a gypsy, so he felt there were greener pastures to be had elsewhere. So we moved on to a few different places, but I always had talk about the Sioux as my birthplace.
How old like were you before you left, Carl? Were you about 6 or 7?
11.
Oh, 11. Okay. Because the next thing I knew that I guess you graduated school in Barrie.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay. So there's
yeah. I
a
had
connection.
3 stops before then, but yeah, I graduated high school there.
Right on, right on. So Andy's got a great story. I'm not sure if he's told you this story about the Sioux, but Andy told our viewers before. And now I've got probably about 1,500 more subscribers since that interview. Andy, why don't you tell us that great Sault Ste. Marie story, if you can remember it?
Well, yes, it's kind of foggy. It is post Coney Hatch, but before I go there, I want to tell you that Carl and I share the common love of hockey, and we talk about the Esposito brothers a lot. And
Mm.
once in a while, I can pull out a Sault Ste. Marie story from Carl to spin up a yarn of when he grew up there. But my story, Carlos, I don't know if you ever knew this. Um, After Coney Hatch disbanded. Somewhere after 85, I put together a new band, and the manager at the time said, "Oh, you got to go north of Toronto and you got to get the work out the bugs and everything." So he books us for a week in Sault Ste. Marie, but
The
there's a
East Gate.
day, the East Gate,
Yeah.
and for much to my surprise, Carl, there was a day off. So it was like Monday, Tuesday, and nothing on Wednesday. And then you play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm like, so what am I supposed to do in the Sioux with the day off? And everybody said, we're going to go to Sioux, Michigan. So we went to Ernest, you're going to have to jump in at some point. We went to a club there and
The back door.
oh, back door. I drank, they were pouring beers for 25 cents or something crazy. And I just, I literally drank so much. And this is a true story. I do not recall crossing the border or returning back to Canada at any point. I
And you
woke
were
up.
driving, right?
Yes,
No.
but I was driving there, not home. So this was with Ray and Harry and Jack Fuller and some of the younger guys, right? So and they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh yeah, we got to go." So they took care of me. I woke up somewhere in the middle of the night, true story, in the fetal position,
Yeah.
completely naked in the bathroom, talking to Ralph on the porcelain telephone.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got into the bathroom. Don't know where my clothes got. I was the only one in the room, and it was messy. Okay, so the next day at breakfast, coffees, I'm like, how the hell did I get home? And they said, Curran, you were blind drunk. Carl's known me for a long time. It doesn't, I don't usually drink that amount of alcohol where I black out. Okay. So that's my story of my last gig that I recall playing in the Sioux. Unless Carl corrects me, I don't know when the last time Coney Hatch played the Sioux. When were we there last?
The last time we were there was 1984 with Barry Connors, and we
Okay.
played in the Holiday Ballroom down by the
Yes.
waterfront.
Okay.
And we
Yeah.
had an enormous argument. We didn't, but Barry and Neil, our tour manager, had an enormous argument. The shouting could be heard outside because some of my friends who I've known since told Tim and Howie,
Yes.
they came to try and meet us afterward, and they said they heard this raging argument coming through the door, so they kind of backed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played the Holiday Inn Ballroom.
That's awesome. And you know what? There's a lot of people that have come through the Sioux, and Andy, you're one up on them. They don't even remember being here. So, I mean, at least you remember being here to tell the story. But yeah, the back door, the good old days. I think they're still, I think they still do that. There's a place called the Merch over there, and I think they still open at 7 in the morning and 50-cent drinks to the first 200 people. I was telling Andy before this, and it's because they have their major employer in Sioux, Michigan is a prison, the Kinross Correctional Institute, medium security, and I think a lot of the guys and the women go there to start off their day.
Hard drinking boys and girls. Get the day
Yeah.
started
I,
right.
Excuse me, guys.
I was thinking it'd be when they get off shift on the all-nighter.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a glass you got to go in there, Ernest. And somebody joined you in the back there, your little Halloween kitty.
Hey, dog. She better knock over my prop. She better not knock over my prop. It's just a fish. So, anyways, guys, 40th anniversary, Devil's Deck, Hey Operator, Monkey Bars. I mean, a lot of those bass riffs. I was just listening to the album, guys, and it's just a killer album. Somebody even commented, it's like they said the Killer Album's first album, the Coney Hatch's first album in my top 10 in history of all albums. So that, and Kim Mitchell produced it, correct?
You did?
So, I
Yes.
mean, a whole bunch of talent in there. Is there any memories like come from recording back live in a studio that you guys can remember that stand out? Either one of you?
You go first. You go
Oh,
first. I got it.
Andy, you want to go
Okay.
first?
Well, while you're thinking about a
Oh
memory,
my God.
I can tell you that one of the things that kind of shocked me, and maybe this will jog Carl's memory, was when we went in. We were plowing away and we recorded the entire record, and Kim said, we should break for Christmas, everybody should go home. And he made us all copies, and he said, go home and listen to it, and we're going to come back after the holidays, and then we'll just put the final touches on the record. And if I remember correctly, we all came back to the studio after having Christmas with our families, only to have Kim announced to us that we are starting all over again. We are scrapping every single thing that we did, and we were going to start from ground zero again. And I just remember thinking, what the hell is going on? Like, I can't remember all the details, but
Yeah.
he didn't like where we were at. Is that right, Carl? He made us just start from scratch again.
Gee, you know what? If that happened, I blanked it from my memory. I do recall that we had a break for Christmas. We came back because we knew we weren't done, and we were still finishing up 2 months later, 3 months later. So
Yeah.
yeah, that probably what happened. I remember that we had trouble getting stand up, if you recall that story.
The bass and drum story, that was frightening. Go ahead. Tell Ernest about that. We thought we were going to lose our jobs, Dave and I.
No way.
You were safe, but we have a song called "Stand Up" for those who don't know the album. That is very a big, fat, wide bass and drums groove with some guitar parts sprinkled over top of it.
Right,
But
right.
it's just boom, 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 like that. Very, very certain feel that you have to have. And we'd been playing it live, but for whatever reason, we got into the studio and we were playing it over and over, take after take, and Kim just wasn't feeling it. So we spent an entire day trying to get just this one song, not getting anywhere. Into day two, another half day, and then there was a group called Moxie.
Right, I heard of that.
Well,
Yeah.
out of the 70s that were based in Oshawa, where we were recording
Right.
our first album. We did almost all the tracks there. And the drummer of Moxie, named Bill Wade, came in he'd heard Kim was there producing a band and they kind of knew each other. So he came to sit in, being an Oshawa guy, just to watch. And Kim was saying, "Oh my God, they're just not getting it. We got to try something different." Billy, would you go in there and sit in on the drums and just show them maybe, how the feel of this thing should go? So Dave, our drummer, was not happy about it being yanked out of his drum chair.
Well, for
but
sure.
but Kim's feeling was, we got to try something different. We're just, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Not clever. So we were all kind of, oh, gee, what's this going to be? But Bill Wade had a name, a famous band. They made records. They are loved in the States. So, okay, yeah, I guess we're going to do this. So Bill came in and sat behind the drums, fidgeted a little, got them to the way he liked them, counted us in, the tapes rolling, dun, dun, 3, 4, boom, beat goes. And suddenly we're hearing this. We're looking around at each other. Where's that coming from? Is there something wrong? And it turned out that the famous Bill Wade, rest in peace, he's died a few years ago. He had a habit that nobody quite had told us about, where every time the snare hit, he made a grunting noise as he played drum. So it was him going vocally with each time he hit the snare drum,
leading through all the drum mics, right? Yep.
Yeah, and we're starting
the Jeannie Bouchard of drumming. Every time she hits a tennis ball, she grunts.
Yes,
something like that. So yes, we started to understand what he was doing, and we didn't dare look each other in the eye, but then one of us did, and we all just broke down laughing so hard that we couldn't finish the take.
Oh no!
And it was a fiasco. But and Bill was just pissed off, that we kind of fell apart. He had I don't even know if he knew he did it, but we fell apart laughing. Anyway, I guess it changed the mood enough, lightened the tension or whatever was holding us back.
Yeah.
That after that, we finally did get it. So in reality, Kim's strategy worked, trying something different, even though it didn't quite go out the way anybody imagined, I guess.
So Dave got his job back on drums, Ernest, after that. And
I was just going to say, so when you guys are doing the show in November, is Dave going to grunt during any songs, or?
I hope not.
I don't think he'll bring that up. No, I don't even know if he remembers that. But yes, with the rest of us that were in the room with Bill Wade, we could not complete the track. So Dave was called back in. Bill left in a huff, and we got our song.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One other funny story I'll tell you about Dave and I. So you got to remember back then we're all pretty young lads and not the most experienced musicians in the studio. Of course, we'd played live quite a bit, and Dave and I were once again hauled under the microscope for our technique. Okay, and specifically, Dave played his drums, his hi-hat so hard that the engineer of Quest Studios built this elaborate box that went around his hi-hat to deaden it. So there was this box that slipped over his hi-hat, but only left a bit out of that Dave could hit the hi-hat so it wouldn't bleed into the rest of the microphones. I don't think Dave was overly pleased about that. And then I was told that I was playing my bass guitar way too hard. I was playing very aggressive. There was a lot of fret noise. So Kim gets this giant piece of foam and sticks it under the bridge of my bass to completely deaden the strings. I felt like I was neutered. I felt like somebody had come across and
Yeah.
gave me the old slice on the old Corleones and stuff, right? And
Yeah.
I think the two of us were moping around the whole day, going, boy, you built a box around my cymbals, and I had to have foam underneath my bass. And so there was a bit of some growing pains on that record, Ernest.
I can imagine. And I mean,
Yeah.
Carl, did they put that big afro on your microphone that they were doing back in the day?
I don't know. No, really, that's not what you. Those were for live wind socks. They were called really.
Oh, okay.
When you're out at a live show and the wind is blowing across it, it just goes.
Oh,
You know,
okay. Yeah.
microphone. In the studio, what you have is a little wind screen kind of
Yeah, it's
thing
like
that
a split screen thing.
he's and but really what you have to learn is mic technique where you're not screaming into a
Yeah.
microphone. And if the singer's style relies on screaming, then the engineer has to find him a microphone that will take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But
But you know,
Carl, do you remember?
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. After that, I want to jog your memory on something else. Go ahead on the microphone stuff.
Well, thing about you, you mentioned Kim, and we had a funny story. We every day at dinner time, we'd go out to dinner somewhere in Oshawa, close to the studio. And one time we went to a fish and chips place in a little plaza in Oshawa. And dinner's over. We're all walking out into the parking lot to get in our van to go back to the studio. There's just a long-haired, mustache, jean jacket, poser kind of guy leaning against a post out in the parking lot, waiting for his dope dealer. I don't know. Anyway, he sees us, Kim and us, coming out of the restaurant across the parking lot. He gets so excited, he's almost shaking, and he points at Kim and says, Geddy Lee!
Geddy Lee. Yeah, I don't think there's even a comparison, but
He was
He
so
was way
excited.
off. He was
yeah.
way off. But getting back into the studio, it was an interesting recording place because they had these amplifier closets that were built into the wall. And if I recall, just to get a lot of separation, they put Steve and Carl's 412 cabinets into these closets, close mic them, put a big sort of, I don't know what you would call it, over the front, like blankets, and muffled it all. So there was a lot of separation because we played so loud back in the day, that
Yeah.
Kim had difficulty getting separation. So, if there was anything I think that Kim brought to that recording session was, it's bringing us some experience and some guidance and some wisdom, and taking us underneath his wing, and maybe teaching us a little bit about song structure and
Mhm.
dynamics. And it's funny that Carl mentioned stand up, because the original version of stand up, if I recall, had guitar going all the way through it. And he said, no, why don't we pull them back, and we'll sprinkle them in areas, and we'll feature the bass and drums. And I even remember the song "I'll Do the Talking" it was quite a bit quicker, the tempo. And he said, why don't we slow it down? It'll sound a little heavier. He got my attention when he said that. I was like, heavy? Knucklehead here was like, yes, let's do that. And there was a couple little tweaks that he did with a bunch of our songs, didn't he, Carl? Where he was just like, try this, try that. And it was our first sort of insight into working with a producer, and getting someone to do pre-production with us.
Yeah, the arrangements were something we didn't even think about. All we knew was, okay, I wrote a set of lyrics here. We need an intro. We need an ending. We need a solo, and the rest of it, give her. You know,
Yeah.
and sometimes our would be too long. Sometimes it was just we didn't have that sense of how you structure a record because we'd never really broken it down analytically. All we knew
Yeah.
was we wanted that kind of feeling when we played our songs. So Kim reeled us into a more uh, digestible form, I suppose, and made the songs have more of a commercial and standard structure.
Yeah,
That
and
sounds
you sorry to interrupt, Ernest.
it's
You
okay.
brought up Hey Operator, and I think Carl should tell this story because it's a great story. I think if I recall, we finished recording that record and there was no Hey Operator on it. We went out and played some shows after, right, Carl?
That's right. Yeah, we thought the first album was done in April of '82, and so we got to get back out earning money again, playing shows. And we thought we were now writing songs for the second album, which we figured we'd
Oh,
be in a year. We'll be back, to the studio with Kim, as we thought at the time. And so we were down in Thorold, Ontario, and my girlfriend at the time had. I used to make collect calls. We were all broke young musicians, so
yeah, yeah,
I didn't have pocket change to make the call after the show back home from a phone booth.
yeah.
So the collect calls, and anyway, I went down to the phone booth outside the gig in the rain, and got the operator on the line, as the song goes, and so ringing and ringing and ringing, and she said, "There's no answer, sir. Please, you got to keep trying." She said she'd be there, so keep ring and ring and ring,
Yeah.
and said, son, Sonny, she's not there. We're not doing this now. So I
Wow.
was so mad. So I went upstairs, and I wrote down the words for it, and I picked up my guitar, and I figured out that intro, and it was just, yeah, it's a song about being mad at your girlfriend, but projecting onto somebody else to blame them,
Yeah.
blaming
The
the
Bill
operator because she wasn't there.
the Bill Canada employee.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if
in a
if I recall, we rehearsed it like you went, guys, I've got this new track, and we rehearsed it in the afternoon, and we played it
yeah,
that evening. And
Wow.
was somebody from the label came down and said, "What the hell is that
yeah.
song?" Or what?
Barry, who was working for Anthem Records at that time, he came down to see us, and we played that song. Oh no, we played it a couple of days later in Guelph, and he
Okay,
came down to Guelph to see us the following week, and we played it, and he met us when we came off the stage. What song was that? And I said, "Oh, we just got it going. I wrote it thinking, we're getting ready for the second album." And he said, "No, that's the single we've been looking for the first album. You're going to go back into the studio and record that." So that,
Wow.
and We Got the Night, which um, I don't I don't know why we were all ready in rehearsal. I guess we were rehearsing to play live, but still making up songs. Because remember, that
yep.
started off just me going, "Hey guys, look what I can do, one-handed. Here's a guitar riff, one-handed guitar riff." And so that's how that song began.
And what
Wow.
do they say, Carl? They say the record's never done until they take it away from you. So those were a couple late contenders that
Yeah,
weren't even on the original recording session. And as Carl said, Hey Operator became the first single. So that was pretty cool that in hindsight, that came much later than the first chunk of songs that we recorded.
yeah. So
Right.
it pushed two songs off the album to make space for them.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a great story. I mean, that's one of my favorite. I think Devil's Deck is my favorite, but so before we talk about what the hell? See, I forgot. Um, oh yeah, so before we talk about Steve Harris and your Iron Maiden link, um, is going to be a trio doing the show, or are you going to have Sean Kelly with you, or how's the show going to be in November?
He'll be with us. He's a super fan, a super skilled super fan,
Yeah.
amazing guitar player with a lot of different
Oh yeah.
arrows in his quiver, and
Yeah.
he's enough that he likes playing with us. So he'll be there covering all the lead guitar stuff and the other guitar parts.
Yeah,
We
he's
call
gonna.
him the new guy, but he's been in the band for 10
Yeah.
years. Not
Yeah.
so new, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a
Yeah.
bunch of bands, Lee Aaron, and he's an author. Actually, I gave him, this is what I did. I was lucky. He actually emailed me to get a contact for Carlos Cavasso because I'd
Yep.
interviewed Carlos and nobody can get it. So I guess he got a hold of Vicky, his wife, and he interviewed Carlos about the book he's writing. So I'm going to get credit
Yes.
in the book. Hey.
That's cool. Yeah, he just finished a book about Carl and I call them pointy rock sticks of death, like explorers and flying V's and pointy
Yeah.
headstocks. And so Sean's a gifted author and written quite a few books. And his newest book is all about these pointy guitars. But it'll be four of us on stage and a different approach for us to kind of get back to the essence of these songs and play them acoustically. And
Hmm.
we had two different experiences sort of playing acoustic for some friends of ours, and one of them was on purpose and the other one was because of a power outage. But everybody said, "Wow, that was really good. You guys should do that again." So we're we're looking at this as a different sort of different spin on the Coney Hatch first record, and we'll have a guest host that night. That'll be a surprise for everybody when they arrive. But our hopes are to go behind the scenes and talk about the writing of these songs and the touring that we did and meeting Kim Mitchell. So it's a real bringing the audience into this close circle of very few people that know the stories behind the making of this record. So we're the 250 people that will be there that night will be let into the inner circle. You know that movie of Meet the Fockers where there's a circle and there's a
Yeah,
dot. There's a
yeah.
dot outside it. We're bringing them
Yeah.
inside that, so they'll be inside. They won't be the dot outside that circle.
Can you give the viewers a hint, Carl, a hint, Andy, of who this guest MC is going to be? Something that's not obvious, but
No,
somebody out there, if they get it, no, you can't.
then it would be a surprise, wouldn't it?
Well, he's probably as well known to Torontonians as Coney Hatch is, put it that way.
Doug
So
Ford.
it's
That's fair.
he got it.
Yep.
Doug Ford's coming.
I knew
No.
it. I knew it. So the album was so the show's the 24th, and where's the show going to be at again?
It's the 14th.
14th. I know there's a 4 in it. I'm from the Sioux.
It's at the Redwood Theatre, which is in
Okay.
the East End. It's in the East End of Toronto, if I recall. I want to say like Gerard and sort of Gerard and Pape area. Would that be accurate, Carlson?
Coxwell and Gerard, near the old Shamrock.
Right. Which is
The
funny
new
because we used to play the Shamrock in that in the days when we were coming up playing the Gasworks and the Young Station and the new Shamrock. So we're going back to our roots.
The
Yeah.
Chamois is the first place I came to see you guys to see what kind of band you were when I talked to the management. They brought me out to see you at Chamois.
You guys ever played Rock and Roll Heaven?
Many
Many
times.
times.
Oh man,
Many times.
when I went to college, I went to Humber, and that's all I remember about college. Rock and Roll Heaven. I mean, what a great name, first of all. I think
Well, if you believe that life is just a one-night stand.
Yeah, exactly. I spent
Philosophy.
Seinfeld. Do you guys Seinfeld fans?
Brothers.
What's that, Carl?
Did you know the Righteous Brothers song? That's what I was referencing.
Oh,
Yep.
see, I don't. I didn't. I only got into country when, well, I don't know. I think
They weren't country, but they had a song. If you believe in forever, then life is just a one-night stand. If there's a rock and roll heaven, you know they got a hell of a band.
holy
Anyway,
shit,
that was a hit.
you got a hell of a voice, Carl.
Not bad, eh? You should
Yeah,
get it. I've heard him sing the phone book, and I was like, press record. This sounds great.
Okay, so everybody, the links are going to be down below to go get the reissue and go on to the Coney Hatch website, buy some merch. But I want to talk about Steve Harris and the Iron Maiden kind of connection. How did you guys come to be on board and tour with British Lion, which is Steve Harris's other band? I think you 2017 or 18, you're on tour with them?
Trying to
it was
think
18, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting because I think when we played with Iron Maiden in '83 on the Peace of Mind tour, we really hit it off with those guys, and they were a little younger than Judas Priest, and there was just this camaraderie where we would hang out with them. And I had brought my tennis rackets on the road, and Steve Harris had his tennis rackets, and he came in and said, "Which one of you guys has your tennis rackets?" So we became, fast friends playing tennis during the days. But
Wow.
we hit it off with Nico and Dave Murray and Adrian, and we did quite a bit of hanging out with them and having beers, and it was just great to be on the road with those guys. And many years later, Steve was going and playing some shows in Canada and said, "Wouldn't it be nice to, kind of like the old days, can you call the guys and the other Coney Hatch guys, and what about having Coney Hatch play with British Lions?" So if I recall, the schedule was pretty rough. Like I think we played 5 shows in 7 days, didn't we, Carl? It was like back to back to back, right? Five
I
shows in
believe it
eight
was
days.
6. 5 shows in
Yeah.
6 days.
Wow.
No rest for the wicked. Yeah.
Toronto, Kitchener, Ottawa, Quebec, Montreal.
Wow.
He's been a big supporter of the record, the early Coney Hatch records, and I remember hearing and Steve spoken about it when they saw Devil's Deck on MTV. It's my understanding that Iron Maiden specifically asked for us to be on that Peace of Mind tour. So it was Coney Hatch, Fastway, and Iron Maiden. And he's always, spoke highly about our band in interviews. So when we did those shows in Ontario and Quebec, we did some more
Mhm.
hanging out with them, and it was just a good vibe. It's like hanging out with your buddies.
And you guys,
Yeah,
Carl, go ahead. Sorry.
we did over 40 shows with them on that Peace of Mind tour. And in Canada, it was just us and Iron Maiden. There was no third band. So we really did spend a lot of time with them, and they treated us very well. But I would have to say that the glue was Andy's tennis friendship with Steve that really kept it lasting and brought it around full circle to where we got a chance to play with him again in British Lion. And then in 2023,
Yeah.
we were on the bill with Iron
Yeah.
Maiden in Sweden Rock. So we got to see them all again there too.
Yeah. And so, Andy, so it's fair to say you lost to Steve purposely.
No, let me tell you, the interesting part about that is the very first game I beat him, and one of the road
Ooh.
crew guys came and he said, Harry's very upset that you shellacked him. And I guess I didn't realize that he was so competitive and he was really pissed off. So he was like, we're having another game in the next city. And it was a bit of a seesaw battle. Like I think we're pretty close, but
You're,
he didn't like losing that first game.
so, but when you're in England and he says Harry wasn't happy, were you immediately thinking Steve, or were you thinking the British royal family? Was there kind of a second? Like, what's he talking about?
No, no, I knew he was talking about Mr. Harris. Harry, he's not happy, he
Oh,
lost. And I didn't realize he's extremely competitive. And there's lots of stories about him putting soccer teams together, with Keith
mhm.
Sharp from Music Express, God rest his soul. But he comes into town and he plays these soccer games and he's hell bent, to win them all. Like he's very, very competitive.
Yeah. So if he when he if he like when he serves, if he aces, does he say like aces high or something like that?
No, did not say that.
No. You never know. You never know. So you guys were supposed to go out with them in 2022, but I think something happened and you couldn't do it. So that shows the talent of Coney Hatch to be asked by Steve Harris, who's very competitive. He's very you kind of would say domineering in a way, and it's and he's a legend. So I mean, so my American subscribers, I urge you to go and look at their catalog and their music. Are you guys getting any shows ready for 2026 to do anything on the road at this point?
We're talking about it. We definitely want to get back out there. Our drummer Davey had a very serious medical procedure that he's recovering from. So
Okay.
we wanted to make sure that he was feeling okay.
Yeah.
And he's told us thumbs up. So I guess um, we'll see how good he is on the 14th. And if he poops the bed, then we'll say we'll have to get Kim Mitchell to find us another drummer for that. No, I'm only kidding. No, but if Dave keeps continuing in this, making progress, absolutely, we'd like to do some shows in 2026.
And you're just finishing a single with Alex and Maya and sorry, I forgot the other guy that was
Oh, Alfio. Oh,
Alfie.
you're talking. You're
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
Envy of None.
yeah,
Yeah, the
no.
single came out last month, and it's actually part of a charity thing that we're doing for the Ukraine, raising money for to send to the refugees that have been
It's nice. Yeah.
driven out of their homes. So
Hmm.
that's something we've got going on the side. But my main focus is getting ready for this show on the 14th.
Right.
The Coney Hatch record reissue came out last Friday. We're really proud of it. It's got a really cool segment from our first show in Cleveland when we played the Cleveland Agora, the live show. And then what do we have?
Did you
Three
guys
out.
get lost backstage in Cleveland like Spinal Tap did?
I don't
Not
think
on that occasion,
no,
but
we
at the
have
time
been lost before.
when we played Richfield Coliseum, I believe there was some confusion.
Really? So you guys walked around and you met the mechanic in the boiler room area?
We did. We
Something.
did. We did, but the funny story that I could tell you, and Carl could add his recollection as well. When we played in Cleveland, we were told that we were going to be on stage at 11 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, what any kind of rock and roll band ever plays at 11 o'clock in the morning? Nobody does, and we were pouring coffee down our throats just to try to wake up. And I thought to myself, there's going to be nobody there. Like, nobody's going to show up? And to our surprise, curtains open, place was packed, and it was called the coffee break. And
Oh,
you
okay.
know and this was live to radio with WMMS, and
Oh, okay. That makes sense
it
now.
was very surprising, but there was a bit of a rude awakening, wasn't it, Carl, playing that early?
It was, and it was not only our first show in Cleveland, our first show ever in the United States, anywhere.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, we went to see the Cleveland Indians play the night before,
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
by the lake, and they were so terrible.
Well, they changed their name now. It's the Cleveland Native Americans. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
whatever they are now. They were so terrible that you could get home plate seats walk up for $10 or something. But
Yeah.
that's what we did the night before, and then tried to get to bed early so we could be awake in time to get to the show, get set up, get sound checked and ready for. Was it 11 o'clock start? It might even have been a little earlier than that. We played a 1 hour set anyway, or
Yeah.
45, maybe it was 45 minutes. And it was just so exciting, but we really felt the pressure of, holy cow, now we're in the big leagues.
Mhm.
Straight to radio this time of the
Yeah.
morning, and our first ever show in the States.
It was
Yeah.
live.
And a full packed house, trying to wake up. But I listened back to that recording, and I think we played a pretty darn good show, all things considered.
Oh yeah, because we were playing constantly at that time, so we were pretty tight with our live show.
Yep.
Did your rider include you know the obvious things on a rock band's rider would be for you guys at that show would be bagels, coffee, bagels, cereal, anything for a continental breakfast?
Uh, if I remember correctly, just for shits and giggles, we would try to put stupid things on there to see if the promoter would give them to us, like tube socks, four pairs of tube socks. I can't remember I asked for peanut butter because I'm a peanut butter freak, and 9 times out of 10 they would never give them to us. But no, copious amounts of coffee. That
Yeah.
rider for sure. We
Well,
we needed it badly.
you couldn't do peanut butter these days because apparently, as Derek Sagan, the comedian, says, "Kid explode if he goes near a peanut." I don't know if you have you ever heard of Derek Sagan, the comedian?
Oh,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Faders
He's
all.
yeah, he's great. Actually, you know what, guy? I'm interviewing Greg Hahn. I don't know if you ever watched the Bob and Tom show or listen to
No,
it.
no.
Well, it's like the Howard Stern, but it's called Bob and Tom. It's been around for decades. Well, they always have these people come on the show, and they got this comedian, Greg Hahn. So Greg's coming on the show in the future. What do you guys think about Geddy and Alex going back out on the road?
I'll let
I,
Carl take that first, and I'll jump in after.
I think it's a wonderful thing for them and for the people that love the music. I saw them when they still had John Rutsey in the band. They played in a high school gym. When I was in high school, I took Latin. So we went to the Latin conference in North Bay, and we saw them. Their first album had just come out, and they were the entertainment for the school dance at the
You've never
Latin
told me
conference.
that story. That's awesome. You saw them with Rutsey. That's wow.
Yeah.
You got me
Yeah.
beat.
Yeah, and I remember in the gym, Alex and Geddy they were acting like they were stoned. Maybe I guess maybe they were. And that peg thing that you used to have to climb in gym class
Yeah.
against the wall. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were trying to do that and failing miserably. I remember that.
Well,
Well,
Neil with his drum strong arms, Neil would have just went to the top just if he was there, in my opinion.
yeah,
Possible.
So,
Anyway, so that was, I saw them at that point, and then the last time I saw them was when I was with you, Andy, in Ottawa, when they had the
yeah.
Clock Angels.
Ottawa Blues Fest. We went to the show together. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that they're just so legendary, their music is so wonderful, it's endured so long. The only thing I question, and I see complaints about it, and I meant to ask you this, Andy, is the ticket pricing. Their fans are outraged at how expensive the tickets are, from what
oh,
I'm
I
seeing.
didn't notice yet. So is it? Yeah. Well, okay, what's the prices going at, Carl? Like, what have you seen online?
Uh, well, I think there were complaints that it was anywhere from 350 to 2,500 for the VIP meet and greet. Um, I mean, 350 for seats if for anything that's not in the nosebleeds, or maybe it is in the nosebleeds. But on the other hand, it costs so much to mount a tour these days with all the costs that go
Yeah,
into it
Yep.
that
that's a great point. But the other thing is sometimes, and I don't know if this is with Alex and Geddy, but I mean, a lot of times it's the people behind that are pushing these prices up. That you talk to the band members, they're like, listen, we wish we could. We're just happy to go out and play, but the management takes care of that aspect. We're not even allowed to touch it, so you never know, right? So
Yep. Yep.
what were you gonna say, Andy?
Well, I agree with Carl. I'm absolutely thrilled that they're back out and going to be playing again. And I had the pleasure of seeing Annika play drums when she was in Jeff Beck's band on Jeff's last tour before he passed away. And she's a super talented, gifted drummer. Um, and I thought that was a really interesting left out of left field choice that
Right.
probably shocked a lot of people. But I think she's got the chops, and I'm excited to see them. And I'm just happy that the guys are able to get out there and play. I think they're going to do like 58 shows from what I understand. But
Wow.
the ticket pricing thing is one of these topics. They talk about dynamic ticket pricing, and it's almost comparable to when you try to get a hotel room if there's a big
Yeah.
event and you look online and you're used to getting a hotel for a couple of $100 during some big event, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden it's $1,000 because
Yeah.
everybody needs a hotel room. Um, when these big shows come to town, all the hotels are cranking it up and what their rates. And so what you're finding is this dynamic ticket pricing that, as you said, the bands have no say in it whatsoever. Somebody puts their tickets on StubHub, they announce the show's sold out. Next thing you know, the ticket prices are doubling and doubling and doubling.
Yeah.
So it happened with Taylor Swift. Same thing.
Yeah.
Their tickets are in such high demand that
Hmm.
it kind of gets out of control of the artists themselves. But as Carl said, the overhead to put on those shows
Yeah.
is just astronomical. You've got, anywhere from 10 to 12 tractor trailer trucks with 40 guys on the road crew and hotels and on and on and on. So a lot of people don't think about how much money it costs to put those shows on and
Yeah.
but it's sad because what started out as a very positive, they're back, quickly turned into people talking negatively about the ticket prices.
Well, I mean, bad news travels faster than good news, right? I mean, that's just a
Right.
fact.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and it's just like one of those things. Like when I would go to Traverse City, which is south of the Sioux, it's like a tourist little destination. I worked in the hotel industry as myself here in the Sioux and stuff, and I know it's supply and demand. So when your occupancy goes down, you'll find the rack rate goes up, and that's just
Yep.
corporate. I would say corporate greed does that, but that's exactly the way it is. The less take the less that's out there for the public, and that's why a lot of businesses put maximums allowed on purchasing a certain product. Like you go to a store and something's on sale for 89 cents, like tuna, maximum 10, right? But with the tickets, you used to get scalpers to buy a whack of them and they would scalp them for twice the price. So
Yep.
don't blame Rush. Don't know who's at fault for that.
No. Well, I think on a positive note, it's just amazing that they're going to be back out there next year, and people are so excited about that. And unfortunately, it is what it is for the ticket prices. It just And all the dates are sold out. So clearly there were a lot of people that, or most of the dates are sold out. So clearly there are a lot of people who had no problem paying it. But
Yeah.
the ones that can't afford it, I feel sorry for them.
Well, hopefully they work for a company where they raffle off some of those tickets. That'd
There
be
you
nice.
go.
There you go. Hey guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to Border City Rock Talk. I want to thank Carl and Andy. The reissue, go down and get the links below and get it. Oh, cliche question. I've asked Andy this before, so I'll ask you, Carl. What is the opposite of unsubscribe?
Subscribe would be the exact opposite in my book.
Carl Dixon's book is
Subscribe.
correct. Ding!
Subscribe.
Everybody subscribe to the channel.
He tricked you. He's getting you to tell all his listeners, subscribe to Ernie's show.
That's okay. Hey, just say subscribe, Carl. Or not subscribe, Carl. Say subscribe.
Subscribe.
There, I'll edit that in.
Subscribe.
Thanks, Andy. And I've asked you this before, both of you, favorite Canadian band, past or present, or even upcoming now, and not Rush. Not Rush. I get that every interview, so that's why I say that. Not because I don't like Rush. I love Rush. Like to have the guys on my show, but who'd you look
Can I
up to?
jump in first? Can I jump in first? I'm going to jump in first.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the Pat Travers band when they came out. Obsessed, man. I loved them. I loved those early Pat Travers records right up until Heat in the Street. And even that song, I la 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 love you. I like that one too. But Pat Travers, I loved his bass player, Mars Cowell. So I'm going to give a vote for Mr. Pat Travers.
And that's a good pick because Frank
Okay.
Hannon of Tesla gives a lot of respect to Pat Travers. Now, Carl,
Nice.
your favorite?
My favorite Canadian band that's not Rush,
Yeah.
Coney Hatch.
Oh,
Well, besides Coney Hatch, because we all know
okay.
you guys rock.
Trick question. You got to go. You got to do something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would I put on? I would say then Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush.
Oh,
Frank
nice one.
Marino. It's another
Nice
one
one.
I get from my viewers and interviewees. Sometimes they'll say Frank Marino. So I'd like to thank you guys. I'm going to put all the links below. Everybody can go down and purchase the album, the merch, and hopefully check you guys out on tour next year. And yeah, thanks again. It's been a treat, Andy and Carl.
Thank you,
Our-
Ernest. Nice to be
our-
here.
Our pleasure, Ernest. You take care. And I'll end by saying, go Blue Jays. I'm going to sign off and dial into that game right now.